Greetings and welcome to this training video about Mailgun API key, where to find in Mailgun and put in HighLevel. In this video, I'm going to show you where to look for the API key in your Mailgun account and integrate it with HighLevel. So once you set up your DNS records, this is the page you might see. It's okay if you miss this page. We are going to walk through the steps below to get the API key configured. But if you're seeing this page, you can select the API option. Click on See URL and fetch the entire link, which the entire link will show up here, so you can copy it, and that would be your API key that you need. But in case where you already missed it, let's log into Mailgun and we'll fetch the domain from the settings. So once you log into Mailgun, make sure the domain you set up it's for US region. So what I mean by that is when you're trying to set up your domain. This is the page you'll see when you add a new domain. So make sure the domain region here, it's US because for a EU region, we won't be able to fetch the list of domains because of this region. So we will always need you to set up the domain in US even if your business is in EU. So make sure this is the US region domain. And then now we are going to move on to fetch the key from the settings. So on the top right, click on API keys. There is a little arrow button here, so we can go to the API keys. And we'll need you to click on the eye icon here, the eyes here. And then this is going to show the entire private API key. So we are going to grab the private API key. This first one here. So once you copy the full API key, we are going to integrate it with HighLevel. So let's look at the settings in our HighLevel accounts. So this is the agency view, right? So we are going to go to the Email Services tab in the settings. So once you click on Settings, go to Email Services tab. And this is where you add service. Select Mailgun, paste the API key here, and the domain list is going to show up based on the API key you paste. Once you save it, this is where it's going to apply to all the location without anything configured. This is going to be the default provider for everything. For example, if you're trying to receive email verification code when users try to log in, it's going to use the default provider here, and each location will use the settings here, because the new location probably do not have anything set up. So that would be what this default provider means. And if you want to configure a different subdomain or different root domain for each location, what you can do is to go into the location settings. And there is an added button for each location. So you can set up each location with its own Mailgun account, or with your Mailgun account, but a different domain, or with your Mailgun account, but the same domain. But you can leave it empty here, and it's going to be using the default provider here that you've set up on the page. So even if you have nothing set up, let's say if you have your own SMTP provider set up, that's fine. We are going to use the SMTP provider as a higher priority. So let's just say if you want to configure for each location, you just need to click on the edit icon here, paste the API key, and select the domain for the location. So yeah, here is what we are trying to explain. You can configure each location with your client's own Mailgun account, which they would have to provide you their own API key. Because the API key is for each unique Mailgun account. Or they can use your Mailgun account, but they can either set up their own domain or your domain, so it is possible to have a different domain for multiple locations, or the same domain for multiple locations, or different API key. So the last possible option is that you can also set up a unique domain for each location to capture cold inbound emails. So here is how you can click here to learn more about cold inbound email here. Yeah, so once you integrate it for the location, then you should be good to go. And let's just say if the domain show up, like the domain you set up, it's not showing up in the drop-down. First, let's check if the region is for US. So that we talked about that in the beginning of this video. And another possible reason is if you scroll down, this is where your API key page here. If you scroll down, make sure the IP whitelist is empty. So we are going to have to remove all the IPs here, if there is something. And then click Save once you're done with integrating with the API key. Thanks for listening to this video about Mailgun API key, where to find in Mailgun, and put in HighLevel for more videos like this, or to make a request for additional training videos please go to the main menu and add a comment ticket.